Hi, Dr. Gary here on the road. We sell dental practices nationwide. So today's topic is crazy additional chaos in the closing sale of a dental office. We'll give you a play-by-play what happened. So before we do that, just want to let you know we now have 10 employees. We're nationwide selling dental practices. We're available to you from, 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. East Coast time. So just give us a call. We work every day except Christmas and Easter. Our phone number is 201-663-0935. Website is dentalpracticeguide.com or also nationwidedentalpracticebrokers.com. So give us a call anytime. Be happy to chat with you. Now, if you think about selling to one of the large DSOs, please give us a call because we work with many of them around the country. There's going through a lot of transition right now, and we know how to work with them, which the best ones are for you. We don't work for them. We're independent, but they will often pay our commission, and there'll be no commission to you as a seller based on certain criteria. And if you work with us, we can also get your legal fees reimbursed upon successful closing. So call us, we'll give you the routine on that. So we are going through a nightmare closing right now. It has been up, down, up, down. It is just a nightmare. There's so many moving parts. It's like the bank says they didn't get documents. We sent the documents 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was going to spam. They're asking us for documents. We're supposed to close tomorrow, Friday. It's all mixed up. The bank says we don't have the documents. We told them we sent you the documents. Then the bank tells us the buyer didn't know how much money to bring to the table. There's a shortfall between what the buyer owed and what the bank was financing. And they say, the bank said, the buyer's irate. He didn't know anything about it. We call the buyer. The buyer says, what are you talking about? He says, I knew how much money to bring, and I wasn't upset. I was ready to close tomorrow. And we had a lot of things set up. The attorneys were working really hard. The buyer was working hard. The seller was working hard. Everybody was working to get this thing done. And then the buyer was leaving for vacation next week. Then we're thinking maybe the buyer's getting cold feet. We don't know. We're not telling us the whole story. Not sure what may be going on. This has been moving up and down and up and down. The banker's telling us we don't have the documents. The banker's telling us the buyer's upset. The banker's telling us all the issues and the problems. They're telling us about a closing statement, documents they should have received. We said we sent them out 2-3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? They said, we don't see the closing statement. We said we indicated what the closing statement was. And this is a great dental bank. A great dental bank. And I send them business. You would think they give me a little bit of attention. So this is like, I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look like we can close now. The buyer's leaving next week for vacation. The buyer was okay, or she was okay, leaving the deal alone and running it absentee, which it already was. He was going to have the manager, or she was going to have the manager, basically run the thing, get everything going, transfer everything, and still see patients because the associate doctor that worked here, remember this was an absentee management, the associate doctor was going to stay on so he'd have coverage. But then the buyer says, no, it has to happen. If it doesn't happen Friday, I don't have enough time because I'm leaving Monday. It's like you're not making sense. You're going to lose. And then you got a staff in transition. That's a dangerous thing. It's hard enough to get staff. And they don't see that, or they don't know what's going on. And we told them it was closing on Friday. Now it didn't close on Friday. This is a problem. Staff starts to wonder, staff may be leaving. Now the seller has a situation where she has to explain to the staff, or he has to explain to the staff, well, it didn't really close yet. We're not going to close for another 2 weeks. Now you get the staff may be getting a little shaky about this. This is just a nightmare. There's so many moving parts. One of the bankers who wasn't even involved in everything is sending us a message at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't think we can close now. And this banker wasn't even involved the entire time. He was supposed to be involved after the closing to assist in transition, not before. Why are they giving us this banker that wasn't involved? I don't know. This is hot, cold, hot, cold. Now we're telling the buyer, maybe we can close on Monday. He's not sure. We can, we cannot. He says, I'm leaving on vacation. I told the buyer, hey, I had a closing that I changed my vacation. I didn't care. I'm not leaving until my closing was done. It was a cruise ship that was leaving. It left the port. So I said, well, I'm going to go 3 days later, and I'll meet the ship at the second port. It was going to take 3 days to get to the second port. I said, fine, I'll leave 3 days later. I'll get the closing done. I'll fly, meet the ship at the second port of where we're stopping. And it worked out great. I lost a couple days on the cruise ship. Ooh, I missed a lot of great food, but it worked out. And I'm telling the buyer, why can't you do that? Why can't you leave on your vacation a couple days? You're going to be gone for 2.5 weeks. Leave a couple days later. What does it matter? Well, yeah, maybe you pay some penalties on the flight, and maybe you book your hotel room, you lose a couple days there, but you go negotiate with the hotel, you can stay a little longer on the back end because you got a credit. It's like, give me a break. I mean, people get crazy, like their life cannot be altered when they have a pre-booked vacation. What the frig? It doesn't matter. There's 100,000 flights a day throughout the world. 100,000. Take another flight. Go to another hotel. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Have some flexibility. This is your future. Right? You're going to make a living out of it for the next 25, 30 years. What does a couple days matter? Leave later. I don't know what's going to happen here. This thing is up and down and up and down. So now I've been doing this for 13 years. 13 years, hundreds of transactions. And I haven't had one in particular like this one. 13 years. And you guys tell me you've done 3, 4, 5 practices. You got it all down pat. This is not your first rodeo. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it that you know everything. And I'm still learning after 13 years, hundreds of transactions. It's always a new deal. I mean, this thing's a nightmare, and I don't want you all to go through it. And hopefully we can avoid it by getting you the right attorneys and the right banks that will stand behind it and just make this thing happen. But this is what it takes. It's chaos, it's problems, it's headaches. Sometimes things go smoothly. Yes, they do. Other times, nightmare, chaos, confusion. Right now, that's what it is. Chaos, confusion, nightmare. The seller's upset. Try to keep the seller satisfied. The attorneys are ready to close. Now, they put all the time into this to get this done. They were backing up on their other stuff. This is not a good situation. Then have a staff that's in limbo. They thought they were going to close. That's why sometimes they say you don't meet the staff until after the closing. You can have all your different ideas, but I'm sticking to that. Don't meet the staff until after the closing. Don't tell the staff. It's just the way I feel. Because this is a nightmare right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Keep you posted. We're learning something new every day. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, we get the new practices out every 4 to 6 weeks. So try to listen to those. That will have those new practices, or you can read them, so to speak. We're trying to do 2 times a week to do these YouTube videos. I hope you find it helpful. If you want the list of our practices for sale, you just have to sign a non-disclosure agreement or contact us, and we'll put it together for you. Well, we don't know where tomorrow's going to be, or if we're ever going to close next week, or we get delayed for another 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We're putting our best effort forward. The word can't is not in my vocabulary. I can only tell you that. I do not have that word in my vocabulary. And the word give up, I've been told, why don't you just give up on it, Dr. Gary? Let's let it go. I don't know how to give up on something. That's just not my DNA. But we'll see what happens. I just hope your broker works as hard as we do on our deals, and we just don't give up. Try to come up with alternatives. We don't give up until somebody tells us to back off. We just do not give up. And we hope you find a broker that does that. That's how we operate. Thank you. Bye.